You're listening to Sorry.
Today will be mostly sunny and pleasant, high of 80. Agree that.
You're listening.
당신은 지금 듣고 있습니다.
Вы слушаете.
Estás escuchando.
Unasikiliza.
To GPSG Radio.
From the Indiana University.
El equipo de gobierno de los estudiantes graduados.
Graduate and Professional Student Government.
Broadcasting from Franklin Hall on the campus of Indiana University. You are now tuned in to GPSG Radio, the podcast for IU Bloomington's graduate and professional student government. I'm your host, Rick Brewer. Each week on this program, we bring you the latest news from GPSG, interviews and music from around Bloomington, and some occasional narrative journalism. It's a podcast for graduate students by graduate students. Today on our show, we are back with our Bloomington Foodie Reviews as we feature an interview with Michael Cassady, the head chef and owner of the Uptown Cafe, a Bloomington classic since 1976.
If you come here and you have a potato cream cheese omelet and it was 1982, I hope that potato cream cheese omelet is as good or better than it was in 1982.
And you'll also hear from local indie rock band Spissy, and one of their biggest hits titled Her Heart.
Her heart, even when it's tearing you apart.
But first, it's Shay with the news.
Thanks, Rick. This is Shay back with the news. And coming up this week, we have the very first GPSG Talks event at Bears Place. Come and enjoy some informal lectures from your fellow graduate and professional students where you can get inspired and learn about what your colleagues are working on. And of course, coming up this Friday, November 10th, is our third General Assembly. General Assemblies are always from 3:30 to 5 in Woodburn Hall 101. Directly following that, from 5 to 5:30 are our Advocacy Committee meetings in the breakout rooms. Following Assembly is our social hours at Nick's English Hut from 7 to 9 p.m. It's a big week. We can't wait to see you there.
Michael Cassady is the owner and head chef of the Uptown Cafe, located in the heart of Bloomington at 102 East Kirkwood Avenue. Uptown has become one of the most iconic restaurants in Bloomington, serving Sunday brunches and dishes like their Creole barbecue shrimp, crawfish étouffée, and seafood gumbo from their Cajun Creole dinner menu for over 40 years. And I started my interview with Michael by asking, what keeps people coming back to your restaurant?
I believe that when I started the restaurant in 1976, I started it as a small little diner on North Walnut next to the Bluebird. It was a time in the States when food was just beginning to happen. Yogurt was an uncommon substance. So I just made breakfast, quality breakfast, and quiches and salads, and stayed open late for the bar. As time went on, the restaurant had 30 seats, and we were very busy. I moved down here to 102 East Kirkwood, kind of the heart of Bloomington, open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, had a little beer and wine bar, and I built a real broad and eclectic menu that really based itself on the breakfast thing. I'd say comfort food, Cajun Creole food. So it reached a lot of demographic. I think they're from biscuits and gravy to crawfish étouffée to fresh fish, and now I have a fine cocktail bar, and the restaurant has just evolved over time and got better and better. And I think it just appeals to a lot of people. It's become an iconic Bloomington community meeting place, really.
You mentioned breakfast, but what I've known the Uptown for is the Cajun Creole dinner menu. Talk about how you developed that style because you went from breakfast to that. What was that decision like?
Well, my love for food began with my love for Louisiana cooking. And when I was young and in high school, I watched a Cajun chef on PBS. His name was Justin Wilson. And I loved his sense of entertainment. It was really the only area in the United States that had held on to its indigenous food at that time. You know, now there's Northwest and California and all kinds. So, but I always loved the big, bold flavors of Louisiana. I loved the fact that didn't matter what color you were, whether you were a man or a woman, whether it was street food or haute cuisine, it was all really good. People loved to entertain. They loved to have a good time, and everybody cooked. And it's just really stuck with me. And then I fell particularly in love with Paul Prudhomme, who was a great Cajun chef, and really took a lot of my own learning experience from him, indirectly, but he was definitely my king. So
you have both a restaurant section and a bar section. Maybe describe to us, someone who's never been here before, sort of the aesthetic and vibe that you're trying to create here.
Yes, I do. I mean, I have a cocktail bar that seats maybe 100, 150. And then the restaurant side, both are kind of dark wood, very homey, a lot of warmth in both in the furniture and the ambiance and the lighting. And then I feel like my paintings, which are my personal paintings, are done by a local guy called Wayne Mans. And if you see them, they're beautiful paintings of jazz, soul, blues musicians, New Orleans, and the colors are just very warm and wonderful. They're almost like Gauguin paintings, but with a little soul of the city.
What do you think are some of the go-to items, whether it be on your breakfast menu or on your dinner menu?
Go-to items, I would say huevos rancheros, crab cakes, Benedict, chapatulas, Benedict. Chapatulas is an Indian tribe in Louisiana. It's also a street in New Orleans. It's made with tasso ham, potatoes, peppers, green onions, and hollandaise sauce. It's excellent. Crawfish étouffée and shrimp étouffée are big favorites here. Both seafood gumbo and chicken andouille and tasso gumbo, big favorites here. I have a muffaletta sandwich, Louisiana hot pepper chicken. And then in the evening, I would say the gorgonzola crusted filet. Crab cakes are the specialty of the house, are all just very popular.
Why do you think graduate students would enjoy a night out here or a breakfast in the morning?
I think my demographic, like I said, it was very broad. But I think that this is an independent, classic restaurant. It's a very mature restaurant, meaning that it's really not, it's not Kilroy's. It's an adult restaurant and cocktail bar. And so graduate students, professors, professional people are really business people in town. And I would say graduate students, 25, 6-year-old to post 70-year-old are my clientele. So they love it a lot. I'm also a big soccer fan, so I get a lot of international graduate students to come here to watch big games, and that's a draw too.
Obviously, you've been in Bloomington for decades now. How have you been able to sustain in the restaurant business when it can be so competitive and most don't last? But you've obviously become a staple in Bloomington. What has been the key to that success?
I think the key is both sticking with it through the hard times, just working my way through difficulties. It's also been setting a standard for consistency of product. I really pride myself probably most on just consistency. If you come here and you have a potato cream cheese omelet and it was 1982, I hope that potato cream cheese omelet is as good or better than it was in 1982. So more than me having 2 or 3 restaurants, my goal is just to kind of create big hits and have those always kind of hit the spot for people. And hopefully people aren't disappointed.
Now, where exactly are you located?
I am located on 102 East Kirkwood Avenue, which is one business east on Kirkwood of the Square in downtown Bloomington.
And where can people find you online?
Online, my website is the-uptown.com.
Excellent. Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming on GPSG Radio.
I really appreciate it.
Michael Cassady, head chef and owner of the Uptown Cafe. That's about all the time we have left here on episode 12 of GPSG Radio. To receive weekly automatic downloads of GPSG Radio onto your device, simply tap subscribe on your preferred podcast app, or better yet, tell a friend to give us a listen. New episodes every Tuesday. And don't forget to say hi to GPSG on Facebook and Twitter at IUBGPSG. GPSG Radio is produced and hosted by me, Rick Brewer, with contributions from Shay Smock, Enos Nassar, and music help from Craig Davis and Lauren Gaynor. And we now conclude with our Song of the Week from local indie rock band Spissy, and one of their most popular tunes, Her Heart.
Take it from me,